Greetings, fellow scribes! Welcome back to the archive! This week, I continue my in-depth series on Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition campaign settings. I do this week on Council of Wyrms. Council of Wyrms is a setting for what happens when you have a very vocal minority of fans who want something that you as a game developer are like, that is so bloody cool, we need to figure out how to do it. And then you realize, but that would be so game-breaking, we can't let it out into the general game worlds. And so, you isolate it, you put it away in its own separate little box where it won't actually interact with any of the other game worlds. Now, what was this thing that players wanted? What was this thing that even TSR would not go, alright, yeah, let's let players do this in every game world? They wanted to play dragons. And so, TSR made the brilliant choice of, let's let players make dragons. Let's make a whole campaign setting around playing dragons. And thus, we got Council of Wyrms, the big box set of how in AD&D 2E to play a dragon. And, yeah. Let's just sit back, relax, and enjoy this discussion, because should be a fun one. Before I begin, let me just say, if you like this video, please click like and subscribe down below. Leave me comments, tell me what you like, what you didn't like, what you'd like to hear me talk about more of in the future, what you'd like to hear me talk about less of in the future. Hey, and while you're at it, leave messages for me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. With all that said, let's just get right on into this, shall we? So, the Council of Wyrms setting is set on the Io's Blood Islands. And the story behind this is, mythologically speaking, is that a great god called Io, a great dragon god, got cut somehow. And where its blood fell in this great vast ocean created this massive island chain. And that is where the dragons settled. They were driven from the mainland at some point by humans. And they went to these islands. Now, one of the notable things about these islands is these are large islands. Large enough for large numbers of dragons to live here. And by large numbers of dragons, I mean you have 15 types of dragons. The 5 metallic dragons, the 5 chromatic dragons, and the 5 gems dragons. And among each of these types of dragons, there are multiple clans. Large enough clans, in fact, that a group of dragons can split off from one clan and form another clan. And that's sort of a big deal. That just tells you how many dragons are here, but also how big these islands have to be. How resource rich they have to be. Now, one of the things that is a major case with this is dragons still live in fear of humans. Wait, did you say? With all those dragons, they're afraid of humans? Well, yes. It's because humans drove them off the mainland. Humans systematically slaughtered them on the mainland until the only option they had was to flee to these islands. Now, ready for the big kicker? Many of these humans worship Io and believe it is their religious duty as followers of a dragon god to kill every dragon that is not this dragon god, because all these dragons are pale mockeries of the god these humans worship. Yeah. Gotta love humans. But the other races, or should I say the elves, dwarves, and gnomes, understand this whole human thing is bullcrap. So they come to the Io's Blood Islands and work with the dragons. This is important because the dragons have to get hordes somehow, which I'm going to get to. Alright, so yeah, here's how the setting works, systematically speaking. First off, there are 4 kits for dragons. These kits are sort of kits in the classic complete player's guide ways, but not really. You see, these kits are more complete classes in and of themselves. You have the Dragon PC kit. This basically creates the dragon as it exists in the monster manual. And then you have the 3 specialist kits for the dragons. The Dragon Mage kit, the Dragon Priest kit, and the Dragon Psionicist kit. What these kits do is the Mage and Priest kits replace all spellcasting the dragon might have with their own progression. The Dragon Psionicist kit replaces any psionics the dragon might have with this kit's progression. But where it gets interesting is the dragons only have 12 levels. And they start before first level. You see, when you create a dragon in this setting, you start as a hatchling, as a you just hatched out of the egg character. And you have to accumulate a certain amount of experience, depending on the type of dragon you are, to reach first level. And then, once you've hit first level, you have to hit another great experience to get second level, etc., etc. But there's a little bit more to it than that. First, in order to level up your dragon, you have to reach a correct age. So, you cannot reach first level until your dragon is 6 years old. You can't reach 2nd level until your dragon is 15. You can't reach 12th level until your dragon is about 1,000 or so years old. So these are long-running in terms of timeline-wise campaigns. But you have to have something else as well to level up. You have to have enough gold pieces worth of hoard equal to your experience points. So that means if, say, to go from hatchling to 1st level, you have to have 500,000 experience points. Guess what? You also need 500,000 gold pieces worth of treasure. This is why you are friends, i.e. have a loyal servant who is either a elf, dwarf, or gnome. They serve a valuable purpose. They go out and help you get your hoard. And, oh yeah, in play, you alternate between using these based on the adventure. You might be using your dragon for one adventure, and then the next you'll be using your elf kindred. There's a number of reasons for this, but big thing is, there's some things elves can do that dragons can't. And so you make 2 characters who share spotlight time. The active character gets 75% of the XP. The inactive character gets the remaining 25%. And dragons get big bonuses to their stats. Like, some of them have like a +7 or something like that to strength. Now, understand, these are modifiers based on when the highest possible stat was 25. So, these are a huge deal that they can get stats up that high. At the same time, dragons start off with a bunch of hit dice. Like, it basically follows a chart of, if you're a hatchling at the starting level, you're at -6 hit die from what the young adult dragon has. So that means if you're talking about a dragon that has 16 hit dice at young adult, your hatchling has 10 hit dice, which is a lot of hit points. Oh, you do not gain more hit points at level 1. But that's beside the point. Dragons also start off with a bunch of abilities. Innate, inborn abilities. Every dragon can do a claw attack. Like, it's automatic. It's free. Every dragon has claw attack. And beyond that, everything kind of depends across the scale on what type of dragon you are. There are innate abilities that you get as hatchlings, as young adults, as mature, as great worm dragons, that just vary. But you are still playing a dragon. You still get to play the apex predator in Dungeons and Dragons, short of the Tarrasque. And the Tarrasque kind of just eats everything. So, it's more the apex omnivore. But, the other fun thing is, there's some options for dragons beyond just what type of dragon you are. You could play a lawful good red dragon. You'd be considered a rogue dragon. You're still under the Council of Wyrms, the ruling body of this setting. You just have nothing to do at all with your red dragon brethren. You and they just don't get along at all. Now, here's a little bit of fun trivia. The Council of Wyrms setting brought something into Dungeons and Dragons that has worked its way into other editions from here. Council of Wyrms was the first setting to include actual half-dragons. I'm not talking about the Draconians from Dragonlance. I'm talking a dragon and a human got really, really close and gave us a half-dragon. Now, there are only 3 types of half-dragons: silver, gold, and bronze. Because these were the only 3 dragons that had an innate ability to turn into humans. But that was still more than we'd had before. And so that was just a small little bit of added detail there. I'm sure there's a lot more I could talk about with this, but another little thing with the process of building the Dragon's Hoard. They had to have a certain XP value worth of magical items in their hoard to go above age category and level 5. Though silver and gold dragons could replace that with that many gold pieces value of art objects. But that was a neat little bit. So, that's a sort of overview of the Council of Wyrms setting. Next week, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Birthright. So, until then, I just want you all to remember to have fun and keep gaming.